Something is shifting in hip-hop and fans can feel it. The energy, tense. The silence, loud. And now, out of nowhere, Kendrick Lamar is being pulled back into a storm people thought had cooled off. But here's the twist. This isn't just about Kendrick anymore. Guys, now, Drake might be making moves behind the scenes. And social media is saying he's not coming alone. They're saying the game, yes, that game, is somehow stepping into the picture. And fans are losing their minds trying to figure out what it all means. Is this strategy? Is this loyalty? Or is this about to turn into something way bigger than anyone expected? Because over the last 24 hours, cryptic posts, old alliances, and subtle hints have started connecting in ways that feel way too intentional to ignore. Fans are shocked. People are divided. And emotions are running high. Some are saying Kendrick's rage never really left. It was just waiting. Others believe Drake has been planning a countermove this entire time. And now it's unfolding piece by piece. But here's the thing. Nothing is confirmed. Still, when hip-hop starts moving like this, when names like Kendrick, Drake, and the game start getting mentioned in the same conversation, you know something serious might be brewing. So what's really going on? And why does it feel like the calm before something explosive? Let's break it all down because this story, it's getting deeper by the minute. It all started quietly. Almost too quietly. Over the past few weeks, fans began noticing a shift in the way Kendrick Lamar was being discussed across social media. Not because he dropped a new track or made a public statement, but because of the tone surrounding his name. There was a tension in the air, something subtle but undeniable. Conversations felt loaded, like there was unfinished business lingering beneath the surface. And when it comes to Kendrick, that kind of silence usually means something is brewing. Fans believe he doesn't move without purpose. And when his name starts circulating like this, people start paying very close attention. At the same time, Drake has been doing what he always does, remaining visible, calculated, and fully in control of his narrative. Whether it's through features, appearances, or cryptic captions, Drake knows how to keep the spotlight without saying too much. But recently, some people think there's been a different energy in how he's been moving. It's not loud or aggressive, but it feels strategic, almost like he's anticipating something. Social media is going crazy trying to decode every post, every lyric, every move, wondering if there's a deeper meaning behind it all. Then things took an unexpected turn when the game suddenly became part of the conversation. Now this is where fans really started to get confused and excited. The game has never been shy about speaking his mind, especially when it comes to hip-hop rivalries. So when his name started getting linked to Drake in online discussions, people immediately started connecting dots. Some fans believe there could be a possible alignment forming, while others think it might just be coincidence or internet speculation getting out of control. Still, the timing feels interesting, because right when the conversation around Kendrick's return energy started picking up, here comes the game being mentioned alongside Drake. And suddenly, it feels like multiple storylines are beginning to overlap. Fans are shocked at how quickly the narrative is shifting. One moment it felt like quiet tension, and now it's starting to feel like the early stages of something much bigger. Emotions are running high in the hip-hop community. Some people are excited, saying this could bring back that competitive edge the culture thrives on. Others are more cautious, pointing out that nothing is confirmed, and that social media has a way of turning speculation into something that feels real. And honestly, both sides have a point, because right now, everything we're seeing is built on hints, timing, and interpretation. No direct shots have been fired. No official statements have been made. But somehow the energy feels louder than ever. There are even fans digging into past interviews and lyrics, trying to find connections that might explain what's happening now. Old relationships are being brought back into the spotlight. Past tensions are being re-examined, and every small detail is being treated like a potential clue. Some people think Kendrick has been waiting for the right moment to step back into the spotlight with something powerful, something that reminds everyone exactly who he is. Others believe Drake has already anticipated that possibility and is quietly preparing his response before anything even happens. And when you add the game into that mix, it creates a whole new layer of unpredictability, because the game isn't just a bystander. If he's involved in any way, whether directly or indirectly, it changes the dynamics completely. But again, nothing is confirmed. That's what makes this situation so intense. It's not about what has happened, it's about what could happen. And sometimes that's even more powerful. Right now, the culture feels like it's on edge, waiting for something to break the silence. Waiting for a post, a track, a line, anything that gives clarity to all this speculation. Until then, fans are left connecting dots, building theories, and watching every move these artists make. And if there's one thing hip-hop has proven time and time again, it's that moments like this, they don't stay quiet for long. Then the situation started heating up fast. What began as quiet speculation suddenly turned into full-blown chaos across social media. Fans weren't just watching anymore. They were analyzing, debating, and picking sides. Every post, every lyric, every emoji suddenly felt like it meant something deeper. And right in the middle of it all, the names Kendrick Lamar and Drake kept trending side by side, fueling the narrative that something serious might be building behind the scenes. It didn't take long before fans started pointing out what they believed were subtle signals. Some people think Kendrick's recent silence isn't random at all. It's intentional. They believe he's letting the tension build naturally, allowing the conversation to grow louder without saying a word. And honestly, that idea alone has people on edge. Because if Kendrick is preparing something, history shows it's rarely small. At the same time, Drake's moves started getting even more attention. A caption here, a studio clip there, nothing direct but enough to keep people talking. Social media is going crazy trying to decode what it all means. Some fans believe Drake is playing chess, not checkers, positioning himself ahead of whatever might come next. Others think he's simply staying active like always and people are reading too much into it. But then things took another turn. The conversation around the game got louder. It wasn't just random mentions anymore. Fans started resurfacing old clips, past interviews, and previous statements, trying to understand where he stands and why his name keeps popping up in connection with Drake. Some people think the game could be aligning himself in a way that adds pressure to the situation. Others believe it's just coincidence, amplified by the internet's tendency to create narratives out of thin air. Still, the timing raised eyebrows, because as tensions between fanbases grew, the idea of alliances, even speculative ones, started making everything feel bigger. This wasn't just about two artists anymore. Now it felt like layers were being added, like the situation was expanding into something more complex. Fans are shocked at how quickly things escalated. One minute it was quiet curiosity. The next, it turned into heated debates across platforms. Comment sections became battlegrounds. Some people are firmly backing Kendrick, saying his track record speaks for itself, and that he thrives in moments like this. Others are riding with Drake, arguing that his consistency and strategic approach give him an edge in any situation. And then there are those watching the game's involvement closely, unsure of what role he might actually play, if any at all. Emotions are running high, and people are divided. Some fans are excited, saying this feels like the return of real competition in hip-hop. They believe moments like this push artists to their highest level. Others are more cautious, pointing out that nothing has been confirmed, and that the internet has a history of turning speculation into something that feels bigger than reality. But here's where things get even more interesting. A few unconfirmed reports started circulating, suggesting that there may be conversations happening behind closed doors. Now, to be clear, nothing is verified, but social media is running with it. Some people think these artists are fully aware of the growing tension and are choosing not to address it publicly, letting anticipation do the work for them. And if that's true, it's working. Because right now, the culture feels locked in. Every move is being watched. Every silence is being questioned. Every detail is being broken down like it holds a hidden message. Even fans who weren't initially paying attention are now getting pulled into the conversation. That's how fast things shifted. There's also a growing belief among some fans that this could all lead to a major moment, something that resets the tone in hip-hop. Whether it's a response track, a public statement, or something completely unexpected, people are bracing for impact. But at the same time, there's still that uncertainty hanging over everything. Because despite all the noise, all the theories, and all the reactions, nothing official has happened. No direct shots, no confirmations, no clear answers. And somehow that's what's making this situation feel even more intense. It's the anticipation, the waiting, the feeling that something could happen at any moment. Right now, it's like the entire hip-hop community is holding its breath, watching closely, trying to figure out who's going to make the first real move. And if the energy keeps building like this, whatever happens next might hit harder than anyone expects. Now the tension doesn't just feel real, it feels unavoidable. What started as whispers has turned into a full-on storm, and everywhere you look, the conversation keeps circling back to the same three names: Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and The Game. At this point, it's not even about whether something is happening, it's about when something is going to happen. Fans are glued to their screens, watching every move like it's a clue in a much bigger puzzle. The energy online has reached a whole different level. Social media is going crazy, and the debates are getting louder, more intense, and more personal. Some fans are dissecting lyrics from older tracks, claiming they're hearing lines differently now. Others are pulling up interviews, body language, even tone of voice, trying to prove that tension has been building for much longer than people originally thought. It's like the entire culture has gone into detective mode, searching for answers in places that may, or may not, actually hold any truth. And then there's the emotional side of it all. Fans aren't just discussing this, they're feeling it. Emotions are running high because for many people, this isn't just entertainment. These artists represent eras, identities, and personal connections. So when their names are tied together in something this intense, it hits differently. Some fans are defending Kendrick with passion, saying his approach to music has always been calculated and impactful. Others are standing firmly behind Drake, pointing out his ability to adapt, respond, and dominate conversations without even appearing to try. Meanwhile, The Game's name continues to hover over everything like a wild card. Some people think his presence, whether direct or indirect, adds a layer of unpredictability that could shift everything. Others believe he might simply be getting pulled into a narrative that's growing beyond its original scope. But regardless of where the truth lies, the fact that his name keeps resurfacing has fans asking questions. Why now? Why in this moment? And what does it really mean? Nothing is confirmed, but that hasn't stopped the speculation from reaching new heights. There are even fans suggesting that this entire situation could be more strategic than it appears. Some people think all of this tension, the silence, the subtle hints, the overlapping conversations, might be building toward a larger moment designed to capture attention across the entire industry. Others strongly disagree, saying the emotions feel too real, too raw to be anything planned. And honestly, that divide is what's fueling everything. People are split right down the middle. One side believes this is the beginning of something explosive, something that could redefine the current landscape of hip-hop. The other side thinks it's all being exaggerated by social media, a case of fans connecting dots that were never meant to be connected in the first place. But here's the thing that keeps pulling everyone back in. Even without confirmation, the energy doesn't feel random. There's a weight to it, a sense that something deeper is unfolding beneath the surface. Every time one of these artists posts something, even if it seems completely unrelated, the internet reacts instantly. Comments flood in, theories multiply, and the narrative keeps growing. At one point, a fan even commented, "It feels like we're watching something build in real time, but nobody knows what the end looks like." And that perfectly captures the moment. Because right now there's no clear direction, only rising tension. There are also whispers, again completely unconfirmed, that people within the industry are paying very close attention to how this is unfolding. Some fans believe there could be behind-the-scenes reactions happening, conversations that the public isn't hearing. Others think that idea is just adding more drama to an already intense situation. Still, the possibility alone is enough to keep people locked in. Because if there are things happening behind closed doors, it would explain why everything feels so controlled, yet so unpredictable at the same time. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. It's not loud in the traditional sense. There are no direct confrontations, no public call-outs, no clear conflict. But somehow the silence is louder than any diss track could be. Fans are watching, waiting, reacting, trying to figure out who's going to break first, or if something bigger is about to drop that changes everything all at once. Because at this point, one thing is clear. This isn't fading away. If anything, it's getting stronger by the second. And just when it felt like the tension couldn't rise any higher, something shifted again. Not a full reveal, not a clear answer, but enough to make the entire conversation feel like it had reached a breaking point. Across social media, fans started noticing a change in tone, subtle but powerful. The discussions weren't just speculative anymore. They started sounding certain, not because anything had been confirmed, but because the energy had become impossible to ignore. It felt like the moment right before something explodes, the calm but not peaceful, the kind that makes people lean in closer. Once again, all eyes turned toward Kendrick Lamar. Fans began circulating the idea that Kendrick's rage isn't just a concept, it's a buildup. Some people think he's been allowing everything to stack up quietly, waiting for the exact moment to respond in a way that hits harder than expected. Others believe that even if nothing drops immediately, the anticipation itself is part of the impact. Because with Kendrick, timing has always been everything. At the same time, Drake continued to move in a way that only added more fuel to the situation. No direct responses, no clear statements, just enough presence to keep people watching. Some fans believe this is a deliberate strategy, staying calm while the noise builds around him. Others think it's his way of showing confidence, like he's unbothered by the speculation. But then there's the wild card that refuses to fade from the conversation: the game. By now, his name isn't just being mentioned, it's being debated. Some fans are convinced that his involvement, whether real or rumored, could shift the entire dynamic. They believe that if he steps in on Drake's side, it could create a layered situation that goes beyond a simple back and forth. Others strongly disagree, saying there's no solid proof of any alignment and that people are reading too far into coincidence. Still, the timing keeps people talking. Because as this situation reaches its peak, the idea of unexpected alliances makes everything feel more unpredictable. And unpredictability? That's what keeps the culture locked in. Fans are shocked at how intense everything has become without a single confirmed move. That's what makes this moment so unique. There's no diss track, no public confrontation, no official announcement. And yet, emotions are running higher than ever. People are refreshing timelines, checking for updates, analyzing every detail like it could be the turning point. Even the smallest action, whether it's a post, a like, or a studio appearance, sparks immediate reactions. Social media is going crazy, and the conversations aren't slowing down. Some people think this is all leading to one major moment, a release, a response, something that finally brings clarity to everything. Others believe the tension itself might be the entire story, a reflection of how powerful perception and anticipation have become in today's hip-hop landscape. And honestly, both possibilities feel real. Because right now, nobody knows what the next move is. That uncertainty is what's keeping everything alive. There are also unconfirmed reports floating around suggesting that people close to the situation are aware of how big this has become. Again, nothing is verified, but fans are running with it. Some believe there could be calculated silence happening behind the scenes, where every artist involved understands the weight of this moment and is choosing not to rush it. Others think that idea is giving too much credit to coincidence. But even skepticism hasn't slowed the conversation. If anything, it's made it louder. Because whether people believe this is real tension or just amplified speculation, they're still watching, still reacting, still waiting. And that's where things stand right now. At the peak of anticipation with no clear answers in sight. The names are still being mentioned, the theories are still growing, the energy is still building, and the biggest question remains untouched. Who is going to make the first real move? Or, is the move already happening in ways people don't fully understand yet? Because if there's one thing this moment has proven, it's this. In today's hip-hop world, silence can be just as powerful as sound. And right now, that silence is speaking volumes. As of right now, the situation is still wide open, and that's what makes it so intense. What started as subtle tension has turned into one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop, with Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and even the game all being pulled into a narrative that feels bigger by the day. But here's the truth. Despite all the noise, all the theories, and all the speculation, nothing is confirmed. And maybe that's the real story. Because right now, we're watching something unfold in real time without clear answers. Fans are shocked, emotions are running high, and social media is going crazy trying to figure out what's real and what's just perception. Some people believe this is leading to a major moment that could shake the culture. Others think it's all being amplified beyond reality. But that's where you come in. What do you think is really going on here? Is Kendrick preparing something powerful behind the scenes? Is Drake already 10 steps ahead, playing this his own way? And what role, if any, does the game actually have in all of this? Or, Is this all just the internet building a story that hasn't truly happened yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I want to hear your perspective on this. And if you've been locked into this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because if anything does happen, you already know we're covering it first. Stay ready because this story, it's far from over.